Hi, I'm Jeff Alpin, the Big Game Hunter. I'm a coach who helps people professionally in a variety of different ways. It could be around job search, hiring more effectively, managing and leading workforce-related issues, like a whole bunch of different things I help people with. And today is a Ask Me Anything day, no BS style, where I answer questions that have been forwarded to me so I can give you some great advice. So I've got 9 questions today. Let me read the first one to you. A potential new hire asked me to send PDFs of work. New employer asked me to send PDFs of work from my company that won't be launched for another 2 weeks. I don't want to potentially lose my job, but I don't want to jeopardize this new opportunity either. What should I do? So I want to be clear. If you forward that information to them, you'll probably lose this opportunity as well. Because here's what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to steal from your employer and give it to them to review. Why do they want to do that? Oh, we want to get an idea about your work and productivity. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. They've already interviewed you. The specifics you can answer questions about up to a point, but it's confidential information that you're being asked to share. Some people would call it industrial espionage. No, don't give it to them. You're being invited to cheat, to steal, and imagine for a second they take this document over to your current employer and say, we interviewed one of your people. This is what he delivered to us. What do you think they're going to do? So just don't do this kind of stuff. And I remember when I was still doing recruiting, there was someone who actually brought their work to the interview. They weren't asked for it. They brought it to the interview. And page 1 said, confidential information, not to be shared with anyone. And this guy brings it to the interview to share. Suffice it to say, he wasn't hired. That's question number 1. Number 2. I was interviewed last week and they told me they'll give me feedback on my interview on Monday. 3 days have passed and I haven't received any feedback from them. And every day I'm getting another excuse. What does it mean? Is it a good sign or a bad sign? The answer is a bad sign. And their thinking is they're shopping for someone else. They're not choosing you unless you're the last person left on earth. Hey, if they want to hire you, they'd make you an offer. But no, they're still talking to folks or they're still deciding, more likely interviewing people because they're not really thrilled with you. So just keep looking for something else. Don't fall prey to this, investing all your time and emotional energy into this opportunity. They're just not that into you. What does it mean when a job you apply to opens up a new posting on the same site 3 weeks later with the same requirements? Now, this is a little bit more complicated because sometimes firms have it set up to automatically repost. So they may have forgotten to take it down. It may mean that. It may also mean that they haven't been satisfied with anyone that they've met so far and they want to continue to see who's still available. It may mean a lot of different things. Just because it reposted doesn't mean anything about you. After all, remember, if you're looking on a website and they posted it today. Each day it's getting lower and lower and lower on the list until it flips to page 2 or 4 or what have you. Then it gets reposted and it's back up to the top. So to you, it's a new posting, even though it was always there on page 4. And I'll just simply say, we can't really tell. And it could mean that you're out of consideration. You'll have to ask them. What can you do if your application was rejected more than 1,000 times? Well, let's get practical. You're just applying to jobs. You're not applying to jobs that you're qualified for. You're flipping your resume like burgers at a fast food restaurant, thinking that one resume is going to get you an interview and get you a job. Obviously, what you're doing isn't working. Now, when I dissect a person's job search, what I've learned is if they're not getting interviews, their resume stinks, their LinkedIn profile and their resume are not congruent, they're applying for jobs that they want but aren't qualified for, or applying for jobs and the resume doesn't make a case. Those tend to be the four reasons why people don't get interviews. You can't keep doing what you're doing and expecting to get a different result. Even if you're half accurate and it's been 500 resumes, you're doing it wrong. Look for jobs that you're actually qualified for and then tailor your resume for those jobs. Okay, we are now at the halfway mark. Why does LinkedIn not rank recruiters? That's a fun question. The answer is, how would they? How would they rank recruiters? Seriously, how would they go about this? By popularity? By effectiveness? Who's going to judge effectiveness? Job hunters? Job hunters aren't paying anything for this. Employers pay recruiters for a successful outcome. And the employer's interest and the job hunter's interest are completely different. Employers hire headhunters to fill positions for them. You think that recruiters work for you, even though you pay them nothing. And thus, the interests are completely out of whack. LinkedIn has no way of accurately evaluating recruiters by any measure. No one does, because there are different interests in this process. Next, how do you apply for jobs you are overqualified for? I'm going to ask you a question. Why are you applying for jobs that you're overqualified for? Remember, when you're overqualified, you have more experience than what they want, which normally means you're making more money than what they want to pay. Your experience may be at a more senior level than they believe the role warrants, and they think you're going to be bored and disinterested. Now, you could strip out years of experience, but you'll walk in the door and right away they'll figure it out. And you know what? They're right. They're right that you are going to be bored. All you're looking for is a job to get a couple of weeks of checks and then walk out the door, leaving them in the lurch again, having missed out on some people that would have been appropriate, but you filled the slot. There's no way to really pull this off in their interest. So don't bother. It's a waste of everyone's time. What's preventing employers from noticing your resume, cover letter, and work samples online? Now, if you're talking about on your website, nothing. If you're talking about LinkedIn, nothing. If you're talking about applying for something that has no corporate name, nothing. And why do you care? Why do you care that they could find this information online about you? Because they're going to threaten to fire you? Well, if they're going to do that, then there's a message in that about how they see your work. So understand, if you're going to allow yourself to be treated like a nothing, you'll get nothing treatment from them. Allow yourself to be treated like a pro and have your stuff out there. Don't sweat it, really. 2 more questions. How can I overcome phone interview anxiety? By being prepared. Most job hunters never rehearse their answers to the predictable questions they're going to be asked by the screener or by the tech interviewer so that they're ready to roll. Instead, everything is answered spontaneously. People wing it. They think as though that if they'll be ready at that moment. And the result is you're anxious. You're anxious because you know in your body you're not ready. So the best way to prepare is to get ready. Now, if you wanted me to coach you for interviewing, I do a great job. It's a 45-minute session that I'll charge you for. Schedule time at my website, thebiggamehunter.us. 45-minute session. Really good. I'll get you very ready for it. Last question. How do recruiters use LinkedIn? Now, what is a recruiter trying to do? They're trying to fill jobs. So the first thing is they can use the free version of LinkedIn, and they are limited by their network as to whether they can find people. They will join 100 large groups in order to expand the scope of their network so that they're able to reach more people. What they're looking for in filling jobs is the ability to search by keyword to find someone. They're trying to understand about you and your background so they feel comfortable in referring you. They feel comfortable in contacting you and having a reasonable probability that you're going to fit their client's role. So LinkedIn sells a product called LinkedIn Recruiter. I don't want to state a price for it because it depends upon how good a negotiator you are and when you watch this video as to what it's going to cost. But it allows them to search the entire database of LinkedIn, all hundreds of millions of people on the platform, and find individuals who they can contact. Remember, they'll message you because they'll see that you're online in order to contact you. They'll email you. They'll do whatever they can to find out about you. They'll post jobs in groups. They'll message people and attempt to indirectly find people by, I'll give an example, because when I worked in search and LinkedIn didn't exist. Yes, I predate LinkedIn in recruiting, and I was member 7653 on the platform. So I was there at the beginning and before. What you're able to do with LinkedIn is like what I used to do in recruiting. I'm doing a search for a client. I'm trying to find someone with such and such type of background. You were referred to me by someone who preferred their name not be mentioned. Would you know someone who might be qualified for a role like this? And thus they're able to network to individuals. They're also able to network to firms that are hiring and who the players are that are hiring at those organizations, and thus get business in that way. There are lots of different things that you can do with LinkedIn if you're a recruiter, both on the hiring side and on the job, and to find job hunters. Just if you're using it, it's a great tool. So I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you found this helpful. My website is thebiggamehunter.us. Go there and go exploring because there's a lot more there that can help you. In addition, if you're interested in one-on-one coaching, I do a lot of different forms of coaching. At the website, you'll find a button that says schedule time for a free discovery call or individual types of coaching. I would love to help you. Lastly, did you know you could watch me on TV? If you have a Fire TV or a Fire Stick, download the app JobSearchTV. On other platforms, Apple TV, Roku, Sony, Samsung, like 90 TV platforms, you can watch me on either Zingo TV or Binge Networks TV. I would love to help you. Have a great day and take care.